Alright, so first and foremost, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Shai, Ba'Shem Rakakadash. We say that as our person, Elohim, simply Muslim rule, our teachers, our person should, and we say salutations to the comes to the push with no truth and sincerity, the in and the and constantly in season, as season, we say Shalom. Once again, going entire video here, I'm basically teaching upon never trusting the enemy. Now, I did a video on this same video here a few days ago. Now I come back to touch upon never trusting the enemy because when it really taking some of the things that you really scope out this video, you will understand it when the scripture says to never trust the enemy because you get to realize how your enemy function, right? The lies that they will put out, and if this is the enemy you're dealing with, why would they trust him, right? When you read about this guy, right? This the first, they say Neuralink made him the first patient. Now he's unstoppable, right? When you read when statements like that, when you read it, he's someone that was paralyzed, and now he could do certain things that he never dreamt of doing. When you hear things like that, it sounds so good. It's sound like it makes these people out say they think that they themselves could go, especially Jakes, that they themselves could go and take this one particular thing, and they'll realize the kind of deceptiveness or the kind of evil that they're dealing with, right? Because you're going straight there, you going and ask your enemy for help, it wouldn't make sense. On a normal day, if you know someone hates you, right? And something happened to you, you wouldn't go to that person for help because you know this person hates you. That is basically an enemy, right? Why would they turn to your enemy for help? Well, now Jakes, they turn into Esau for what? For help. They turn into Esau to the asking Esau to help them out, right? Especially with these things that they're bringing forth here. Let me read the scripture here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and I read from verse 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Right? So the scripture say what? To never trust thine enemy. Right? Never trust them. Now, when you look at the meaning of the word trust, when you go on Google, right, and type in the word trust meaning, it says a firm belief in reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something. And say what? The firm belief in reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something. So how could you be reliable on your enemy? How could they be reliable on Esau? These are the same people when they watch the track record that they have against Jake, the kind of evil that they done to us, onto us. You know, for well, let's look up the kind of lies they perpetrated on Jake for years, so that they can infiltrate, the murder, the rob, and the rest of stuff that if I go to mention, YouTube might want to what? They might want to ban they might want to flag the video, they might want to remove it. So why would you be reliable on your enemy? Why would they want to be reliable? Because when you look at the word reliable, right? Um, Dictionary. Let me see if I get it here. Right. So let me see if I get it here quick. Say reliability, right? When you look at the word reliability, it says the quality of being trustworthy or of performing consistently well. And where has Esau performed consistently well to Jake? Put a particular time when these people has been trustworthy, you know, put a particular time that they have performed consistently well. They have not. They have not performed consistently well. Because when you really, let me just play the video here, right?
So, honestly, I had no idea what Neuralink was when I
Pay attention to the words coming out of this man's mouth, right? That way you see these people you're dealing with is really a deceptive and evil people, right?
honestly I had no idea what Neuralink was when I applied. One of my buddies called me up one day and was like, you want to get a chip in your brain? I said, God.
Pay attention to those simple things he just said. He had no idea what Neuralink was, right? And his buddy just called him up a day and asked him if he wanted to get a chip. Now, who was the buddy? How did this buddy know about Neuralink, right? Why were you the first test? Now, all these things that are put into consideration because of what? Again, knowing the enemy that they're dealing with. The scripture has no mention what? It says, it says, never trust thine enemy. And these people are what? Their enemies. Because when you go to the scripture, right? And I go to the book of Psalms, let me get it here. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83, and I'll read from verse 2. It says, for lo, no, let me read from verse 1. It says, keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies, it didn't say thy friends, it says thine enemies make a tumult, right? So it didn't say friends, it say enemies. And you're going to mention who your enemies is, right? So it say, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and considered against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. It say the tabernacles of Edom. Now and it literally starts with who? The tabernacles of Edom, right? Which today you call them what? The so-called white man. So the scripture is telling there that for lo, thine enemies make a tumult. It didn't say friends. It didn't say buddies. It didn't say something good. It say enemies, right? They make a what? They make a tumult. The scripture, when you read verse 3, say they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. That is what they do. And then when you go to verse 6, it tells you that the tabernacle of Edom, the tabernacle of Edom, right? Those are your enemies. It say, and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, right? And when they keep on going down, it continue to mention what the rest are heathen nations that will be considered were your enemies as well, right? All these heathen nations are your enemies. But nonetheless, so now going back now, so when it's look at the word trust, it says firm belief in the reliability, right? Reliability, truth or ability of someone or something. I say truth. Where have this man has ever told us truth since the beginning of time? Now he could decipher certain things that they said that they put forth, some of the information that put forth to be truth, right? And so forth, like some of the things in history and so on. But where have this guy actually tell Jake the truth? Like for example, let's go to like the scientific section, right? I can't remember was it the Tulski project, and I could be wrong. You know what? Let's do a quick search on it here. The Tulski project, was it that way? The Tuskegee, right? The Tuskegee syphilis study. This the Tuskegee study of the untreated syphilis in the Negro male was a study conducted between 1932 to 1972 by the United States Public Health Service and the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention on a group of nearly 400 African American men with syphilis, as well as a control group without. And that's basically wrong, because what they did was infect Jake with diseases. There wasn't what I was doing is basically doing tests on them. There wasn't literally helping them, right? There wasn't helping them, right? It say in 1997, President William Clinton issued an apology to the living male survivors of the U.S. public health syphilis study at Tuskegee. While the apology became the focus for many, little attention has been paid going forward to two very recommendations by President Clinton that accompanied the apology. So why would they want to do an apology, right? Why would they do an apology? So when they go into a deeper search into what actually happened here, it's a bunch of lies that took place that Esau did, right? So why again, when you read some of these things that they did, why would you trust this nation, right? These people with injecting something inside of you? Why would they do that when the track record proves that there's not people to be trusted, right? So so it say here, sorry, I'm gonna come out from this. So it say trust, and it doesn't mean that they would trust. We're talking about firm belief in the reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something, the ability. And hey, we know read all these things about what Esau did. Now coming back to the video.
Nothing better to do. So I decided. Honestly, I had no idea what Neuralink was when I applied. One of my buddies called me up one day and was like, "Do you want to get a chip in your brain?" And I said, "Got nothing better to do." So
You see, when you get a chip in the brain, got nothing better to do, right? And all of a sudden, he don't know what Neuralink is. But he just called him and tell him if you want to get a chip, he was accepted and so forth. These are things that Esau already had planned out. That is why see if I get the comment here. Um, on this one. Let me see if I find it here. Right. And that way this person asks, is there somewhere I can read about his life before all this? I have a theory, right? And that is the thing. There's no information really come out about this guy, but listen to the speeches he say. It goes to show how deceptive he is, right? With just those simple things I mentioned, right? But when you read some of the comments, everybody praising the chip, right? Everybody praising the chip about the upgrade that's coming, and so on and so forth, and this go and again the false miracles that Esau would bring, right? Using the technology and so on, right? But as the person said, and I feel like told us his story before, but let's listen to his statement of how he came into the contact with the Neuralink, and he just say he had nothing better to do to take it. It goes to show how it's basically being set up, right? So he said, never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou had wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Because again, it doesn't matter how much you try to cover rust, right? So there's a particular paint you may use on iron, for example, right? I can't remember the name of the paint off, and maybe adhesive paint, some as a particular name for it, right? And if something rusting, you would give it a little clean and you would rub that paint on it. And what that paint would do, it will cover up the rust. But that doesn't mean that the iron that they cover is not rusting. The rust is still there and it will continue to rust from the inside out, right? So basically, that the wickedness is hard, even though they try to cover up the wickedness with bringing things that seem to be good, that wickedness is still there. No matter how much time. The scriptures mention is same Surah chapter 14, verse 7, and say, and if he do it good, he do it unwillingly. Because this is a wicked man you're dealing with. There's no good to come from this guy, right? It say, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, and that is basically what he going to see. So all of them that are Russian that seeing these videos coming out about the Neuralink, that coming out about the chip, that basically, is lies coming out that it will help you medically, it will help you financially, all these things. At the last, there is what the scripture say, and at the last, he will declare his wickedness, and at the last, he will really see why Esau wanted Oleg to take this implant, why Esau wanted Oleg to give this brain implant, this implant in your hand, and so on and so forth, right? And at the last, and we know at the last, it basically too late, it done in it already. But as the scriptures say, if he do it good, he doing it unwillingly. So even if something good come out of it, he do it unwillingly. That's how wicked this man is, right? That if good really come out from it, he do it, he didn't mean to do that, right? You see, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. Yeah, and at the last you will really and truly see why this was brought forth, why why these things come out, you know. And again, this watch and this list again, listen to the things that is being said and so forth, and you would see this is just no random man that got this, right? So going back to the Sirach 12, it said, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place, neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with his serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Right? It say, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? Yeah, who will pity him? Because he wouldn't pity. So let's just say a charmer, right? A person that try to charm a wild animal, like for example, snakes. If he get bit by the snakes, you know what will go on? He will laugh because there's a wild beast, and he expects someone who playing with a snake to get bitten, right? Because that is just the wild beast he dealing with, right? It's the same thing goes for you guys that continue to run to your enemy for help and think they go and help you. That is what it is. You can't run to your enemy for help. It wouldn't make sense. The enemy, he don't want nothing good come to you, right? And that's going to happen when plenty of your jakes, majority of your jakes are going to run to take these chips, right? Rather it be the Neuralink, the chip that's coming from Dangerous Things, which is another company. The government already has the FDA chips approved. This was the Neuralink was actually FDA approved. So for those who saying, right, that nah, this will never make the forefront. 'Cause that these people who believe the government it wants the best for them and so forth. This was one of the first things when Trump came into power that he make sure was FDA approved. No, he didn't need to do that, but he did it. This was one of the first things, right? And he don't really need to approve that because this is the next step into what's coming, right? Basically making these things more mandatory, making chipping become what mandatory, heading into what the part of the MOTB, right? So it says verse 15. It says, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. So yeah, listen, some of the things he's saying is like, we go help here, this could be your health. When you have this inside, they'll be able to read your health and tell you what's wrong and so forth. Yeah. But really and truly, the scriptures say, his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. Right? You see, he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. And that's the thing. Right? And they're basically enemies who we expect to come from an enemy. It's someone that literally hates you. The scriptures mention the perpetual hatred that Esau have for us. So why we knowing this person and have an everlasting, ever continuing hatred? Why would we go for them? Why would we turn to them for help? Right? And it's such a heavy thing because when I listen to his words,
it was just to help. Honestly, I had no idea what Neuralink was when I applied. One of my buddies called me up one day and was like, "Do you want to get a chip in your brain?" I said, "Got nothing better to do." So I decided to apply over the phone with him, which is a pretty interesting juxtaposition of like where I was then. I wasn't even able to apply online, and so I did that, and by the grace of God, got in. My whole reason for doing it was just to help people from the beginning. I knew that if it worked, if it didn't, whatever the case may be, I would be helping someone. They would have learned something. And 4 months after I applied, I was getting brain surgery. So yeah, all happened pretty quickly.
He talk about one helping someone. There's no help to come from this man. He also said, by the grace of God, these people don't believe in God. He was the same guy. When he took the trip, he said that he make a statement that he became like God. You know, he even changed his name to I am that I am. Right? And there's a wickedness that come from this guy, right? But when you listen to his words talking about, you see how it basically, when you listen to it, it's like it's set up for those who know, for those who that have that eye salve, hey, you know, they see through, they would see through this lies that come forth from this man mouth, right? So hey, once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. We say the one Sapasan, Elohim, great Muslim ruler, teaches all person in truth. And we see salutations, so the icons to the push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly, in season or season, we say, Shalom.